Hi, Hongyan, Daphne here. Thank you for sending these. So this is the missing task 1 from before, and then your new tasks. Okay, perfect. Can you tell me where you are getting your questions from? It's very important that you get your questions from a good source. Some questions that you find online are really very strange. They've been misreported from students who've done the exam. It's really important that you are using a reputable source for your questions. Now, both your task ones are much too long. You need to go for around about 180 words. No more, really no more. You will get no more marks, okay? Absolutely no more marks for writing a lot. You've got to do this in 20 minutes. The more you write, the more you will make mistakes. That is human. So 180 words. So you need to cut these a lot, okay? So we've got here a percentage of people using public transport over a 10-year period there. And then you've got the percentage of people using private cars, same period, okay? So let's just have a look at that. Doesn't look like it's very exciting, does it? So the charts illustrate changes in the proportion of Australian people good using public transport. Yep, good. Overall, citizens had a bigger preference to drive their own cars than to take public transportation, and Adelaide was the city where most people choose to use private cars. Okay, had a higher preference, we say, a higher preference to drive their own cars rather than to take public transportation. Okay. So you try to paraphrase that by putting in public transportation. So you could put buses, trains, or metros, something like that, just to get a bit of vocab in there. Why not? Adelaide was, it's finished, past simple, was the city where most people chose, good, chose, past tense there, watch out, to use their own cars. Yeah, or chose to or preferred to use their own cars. Most you might put on the end there. So watch out, we want to have no mistakes. Yeah, those are tense mistakes. Those are important, and that's larger preference. Looking more closely at the public transport usage, okay, it was most prevalent. It was most, I don't think you can use prevalent there actually. Chosen or supported, we sometimes say. In Sydney at the beginning of the period, with 20% of people, tighten this up, but used by 20% of citizens. Used by 20% of citizens. Tighten it up. There's too much blah, blah, blah language in here. You haven't got space. And then, comma, to be overtaken. So rather than but this was overtaken, but to be overtaken by Brisbane around 2004. Which kept going or which stayed. You can't see which kept going at the top. It's just a little bit informal. Which kept its, let's do it this one. High ranking until the end of the period. Something like that. The percentage of public transportation takers. Okay, the percentage of residents in Perth, Melbourne, Adelaide, comma, opting for public transport, okay, did not see, past tense there, did not see, you're writing the present perfect, you don't need to be, it's finished, did not see much change, with yes, okay, so I'm cutting this, you can see how it's very easy for me to cut, so next time you do the cutting, edit it, get this really tight. Change things around. You're making your sentences very long. You can tighten up your sentences, and this will get you higher marks, more skill in showing this tight grammar. As regards personal car usage, Adelaide maintained its highest usage rate. Good, really nice. Where You need a relative clause there. The percentage of individual car use. Yep, good. Well, there was a larger percentage or higher proportion is good. Higher proportion of people choosing to drive their own cars in Melbourne. This was exceeded in 2020. 2002. After which, rather than since then, you'd have to go after which. Okay, so do you know what my comment is going to be here? Choose a simpler diagram and then get the language perfect. And I want comparatives, which you're doing. That's great. But I want many, many less mistakes. I want you to use the linking words while, whereas, and in contrast. Okay, try that. Comparatives and superlatives. And I want you to include these words while, which you've got there, whereas, and in contrast. And watch the tense here, yeah? It's finished. So if it's finished, past simple. Okay? So just work on those quite carefully. Don't do a comparative. Just do one picture and get it perfect. And then we can build onto the other ones. Percentage of water used by different sectors. Okay, total water, and then divided by sector. Okay, pie chart silhouette changes in the proportion of water being used. Okay, overall the general pattern did not see. Okay, or you could say varied little over the 20-year period. The largest again proportion. Yeah, you've got proportion and proportion, so you could mix that up. Percentage or quantity being used by the food industry. Looking more closely at the water usage, food industry represented nearly half. Yes, yep, okay, good. Moreover, yep, that was an almost equal proportion of water being used. In contrast, don't use however in task 2. Yeah, the linking words are different. In contrast. As regards the situation, the water usage percentage was slightly adjusted. Okay, had slightly, it was not a passive, so had slightly adjusted. You want a past perfect there actually. Had slightly shifted, I'd say, maybe rather than adjusted. Although the food industry, okay, still consumed the most water resources, good, the percentage decline slightly by 7%. Nevertheless, there's lots of linking words in here which are more suited to task 2, if I'm honest with you, but use this one, whereas. There's really different vocab for task 1 and task 2, so you want more like the ones I just said to you, whereas the percentage of water in the service industry nearly doubled. Okay, so you still need to cut this. That's much better than the other one, but again, in terms of the word count, okay, try and get it under to 180. You could take out this is a little bit blah blah blah. Okay, keep it really tight. That's what we're looking for, a really tight answer. Not too much chat in here. It's really like a business report. Think of that sort of style. Okay, some people say the main aim of advertising is to improve sales of products that people do not really need. Haha, this is the key little bit in here, that people do not really need. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So advertising as one of the main marketing tools has been widely adopted by brands, and people are exposed to abundant ads almost every day. Lovely. Some voices claim the main purpose of advertising is to stimulate the consumption of unnecessaries. It's interesting you're using that as a noun. Unnecessaries. I would go unnecessary consumables. You can use it like that, but I think the examiner might think it's an error. So I use it as an adjective, unnecessary consumables. And thus to boost marketeers' profit. It's a double E, it's unusual. So the marketeers' profit. Personally, I agree with not such statements as this statement to a certain extent, but I have reservations. Okay, interesting. Nice intro there, well done. Many brands use advertising to encourage consumerism on purpose. Okay, or you could say to intentionally. Consumerism, great vocab there, really nice. But I do this instead of that. Brands like McDonald's and KFC, for example, promote. Watch out on your tenses. Present tense here. Promote their products by illustrating cartoon characters and giving out free. Yes, absolutely. As a result, youngsters may pester their parents by junk food. Very good. Moreover, adult consumers may be under similar pressure of consumption as many brands use. Present tense there, or have benefited, you can get it present perfect, from using celebrity endorsement to boost their sales. So if we're thinking, oh, it's all in the present tense, I need to show a bit more, you could do this, have benefited from. Despite the fact that adults have their own money to spend, they could be brainwashed by idols and trapped, okay, and to keep up with latest trends. Their own money. Do you want to say have limited money? I go maybe adults have limited funds available. That might be quite nice, higher level language. So they've got a certain amount of money, but they're still trapped into spending more. Nice paragraph. There's some good content in there. Well done. Watch out on your tenses. Yet not all advertising is profit targeted, and some may bring, watch out with can, some may bring benefits, or just may benefit consumers. For instance, don't use for instance yet. Say for instance a little bit later in the paragraph. I want more. This is interesting, so keep going. Some informative advertisements aim to offer detailed product information to consumers, enabling them. Take out thus. We've had thus before. Just go enabling, ing, them to have a thorough idea before purchase. Good. We don't use thus very often in English. It's quite heavy. So just have the ing, enabling. For those who have no time to go to the physical store in person, such advertising provides, yes, with not only convenience, but more time. Get into better grammar here. Not only, but, okay? It's really important. If you want to score a high score, you need to push the grammar in here. So little things like that is much better than lots of, which will lose you points here. It's not sophisticated enough. In addition, some other advertisements, comma, which involve celebrity endorsements, could actually, not would, could actually promote a healthy lifestyle. Celebrity, or role model endorsements could actually promote a healthy lifestyle. Okay, cut that bit, move it forward. For example, yes, okay, famous personalities present. Who present, relative clause there. Present sports advertising could encourage people to be more active. Could be more active, yeah? Could be more active and link this together, and likewise. So I take out that and I link those two sentences together, and likewise, ads of consumer products, ads for healthy. So ads for healthy drinks or foods could lead to, yeah, absolutely. So use could instead of can, yeah? Tighten this up a little bit and let's get some more grammar in here. I'm going to send you a link for some grammar that I'd love you to try and work on. In conclusion, when considering, although many appropriate grammar, it should be borne in mind. I get this into the passive. It should be borne in mind. The benefits in certain cases good, and consider the positive impacts. Absolutely. So I totally get the message. You understand the question very well. You've argued it very clearly. For me, there's too many grammar mistakes in here. So really get focused on the grammar. Edit it carefully. Check it carefully before you send it to me. And I'm going to send you something on on grammar for you to work on. Okay, but good work. Well done.